And you're back on another edition of Inside Action, coming to you today from Lower Manhattan and the offices of CEO. Not the Chief Executive Officer, but the Center for Employment Opportunities, and that is headed by our friend Chris Wattler right here. Chris, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here. And of course, the CEO program is an important partnership along with the Action Environmental Group, and we're here to learn about what you do and how you work with the Action Group and how you work with organizations around the tri-state area or around the 5 boroughs to employ some people that might not otherwise have the same opportunities. Tell us about what you do.
Sure, thanks, and thanks for having me. So the Center for Employment Opportunities for over 20 years has been providing, our mission is to provide employment services to people who are formerly incarcerated or have criminal convictions. So we get jobs for people. That's what it boils down to. It's CEO, we'll serve about 2,500 individuals a year. We'll make about 1,000 placements in a year as well.
That's amazing, and I think what a lot of people are curious to learn about is that process of reacclimating people from incarceration into a productive place of employment. I've learned from some of the candidates that can be a really challenging time, and a lot of times people don't know where to turn for that next step, and you guys have that process at the ready.
Mm-hmm. Our model is essentially four phases. There's orientation, transitional employment, with job coaching. Then there's job placement, where our job developers are going out and talking to businesses, figuring out what they need and matching our clients to those needs. And then we have, for up to a year, we provide retention services, where we'll work with the employer, with the participant, to make sure that they're staying employed, or if they lose a job or need to change or want a better job, that we're working with them to do just that.
Now, tell me a little bit about that onboarding process. What can you say that might spur somebody's interest in becoming an employer that can draw from your resources? What are those key elements?
Sure. So, first and foremost, I think it's really important to acknowledge what we hear from our business partners every day, right? What they're looking for are quality employees that will stick with them, that will grow with their businesses, that will meet their needs. And so we work with those employers, our employers, over 200 of them just here in New York City, to make sure that we're listening to what those needs are. And that's a big part of what we do.
And at the same time, then you have the other side of the coin, which is the recently incarcerated or recently come home participants or candidates for employment. And I've heard some amazing stories from employees at Action Environmental Group. Why don't we take a listen for a second as to what some of those participants had to say.
When I started with CEO, they had just made a contract with a sanitation company, Action Con, and I wanted to be a part of it. And I just never looked back after that.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate CEO. I definitely appreciate Action for giving me a chance. I would recommend CEO to anybody that's being released from prison, because they do strive for the betterment of anybody that's being released from incarceration to be given a second chance. My life drastically has changed. I have capital, I have a bank, my credit went up, I drive a BMW.
How about that?
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted to do when I was locked up. I said I wasn't going to jail again. So that's my main purpose. I wasn't going to jail again. So I knew I had to get a job. If you come home from being locked up, incarcerated, everything like that, it's up to you, man. If some people don't want to work, some people do need a chance. And some people just don't know how to find that chance. Some people give up and everything and go back to the streets.
And I don't do the things that I used to do that led me to incarceration. Like, I try to stay away from negativity. Being with this company has helped me, like, take a look at myself. Like, you can be somebody.
Life is grand. I have no complaints.
Tell me what that's like to hear those stories and know that your organization is providing the seed for that.
Sure. First of all, it's really important to just acknowledge the partnership with Action, right? It's a real training partnership. And so Action is not just taking from us referrals for employment, they're actually working with us hand in hand to identify individuals who are interested and to, getting them trained. And Action is really putting some money on the table to do that. So we appreciate that partnership. Not all employers do that with us. For Action, that's a way that they're meeting their needs.
So going a little bit above and beyond to really make the program work is what they're doing. And then at the same time, there's so many different events around the city where I know that you and some of the leadership at Action Environmental Group have come together and addressed community reaction or questions. Tell me about some of those events and what you've learned.
Well, recently the governor hosted a forum at Vice Media inviting businesses to really triumph the Work for Success program and the Fair Chance Act. So there's been real progress in this state to make sure that people who have criminal convictions are not discriminated against. And that's what the Fair Chance Act does. It's important to have an employer like Action that actually does, adhere to that law, and that's a real role model, I think, for other businesses.
How does a company go about reaching out to you to find out how they can get involved?
Sure. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. You can Google Center for Employment Opportunities. We have offices in 6 states currently, across the country, 15 cities. It started here in New York, so any company that's interested in working with us, can go online, Center for Employment Opportunities, at CEO Works.
And just reach out and ask the questions, right?
And just reach out to us. We have a dedicated team of business account managers here who are ready to engage you and meet your hiring needs.
Perfect. Well, we'll put the website address right here along the screen. And in the meantime, I thank you for your time and attention. Congratulations on all the great work that you've done. And we look forward to finding out how the process continues to grow and develop.
Great. Thank you.
In the meantime, that's another episode of Inside Action. We will see you next time.
And that's Inside Action. Yeah.